Good evening. I would like to convene the meeting of the Speedway Economic Development Commission at approximately 2 after 5 p.m. on December the 20th, 2016. I'd also like to introduce the other commission members. To my left is Diane Masariu Carter, and to my right is Mark Chastain. I would like to call the meeting to order, but I would also like to take the roll call. Diane?
Aye.
Mark?
Here.
Okay, so we have established the quorum. The next order of business that we have to attend to is the election of the officers of the commission. In prior discussions, we have all consented and agreed that I will serve as the president of the commission, Diane will serve as the vice president of the commission, and Mark has agreed to serve as the secretary. So I'd like to have a motion for that slate of officers.
I'll get a motion to slate the officers.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. It passed unanimously. The order of business this evening is to formally accept the Economic Development Agreement that has been entered into by the Speedway Redevelopment Commission and Wilshaw LLC. This is a formality to initiate the taxable bond issue that will be passed by resolution at some point in early 2017. The agreement had been distributed to the commission members, and prior to any motion, were there any discussions or questions relative to the document?
No, I read through the document. Oh, sorry. I did read through the document, and you and I had discussed, and I have discussed with other community members here in Speedway, the concern that we all have on the parking.
Correct.
And the concern on making sure that the apartments, the condo and the hotel are high-end. Those are, and my biggest concern, quite frankly, is, for parking for our businesses there on Main Street during the course of the construction.
Well, I do want to acknowledge that we have Marie in the audience, and she was also in attendance at the Redevelopment Commission meeting last night. And the Wilshaw development was discussed, as well as the creation of a parking committee that is comprised of two councilors, Gary Rakes, Jeff Matthews, two members of the Redevelopment Commission, myself, and Vince Noblet, who serves as the president. We have owner-operators along Main Street, Chris Hill, who is the owner and operator of Dawson's on Main, and Marcia Huff, who is the owner and operator of Barbecue and Bourbon. In addition, we have Chris Jones, who represents the neighborhood as a resident on that commission. And the committee has been meeting, gathering a lot of data and information, and we will hold a public meeting to share the results of that committee's work to the general public sometime after the first of the year.
Okay.
So it is a big concern. We are addressing those concerns. The primary purpose of the committee is to identify available parking during the construction cycle and then come up with recommendations for permanent solutions post the development construction. So I would like to open it up. Marie, do you have any questions? Would you like to make any comments?
I just want to know what's going on. I hadn't been doing that, so I'm attending meetings.
Okay, great. Well, I certainly appreciate your interest in.
I just want to know.
Okay. And as I'd mentioned, this is a formality. It's the Economic Development Commission's responsibility to initiate that process to establish the resolutions and ultimate hearings that will be held after the first of the year for that taxable bond issue to help support the overall project. So, unless there are further discussions, do I have a motion from the Commission to accept the EDA?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Any other business that we need to discuss at the current time?
Not that I'm aware of.
None? Okay. So hearing no other business, I would like to adjourn by consent. We don't need a motion. So the meeting has adjourned at 5:07 p.m. on December 20th, 2016. And thank you for coming, Marie. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I just want to understand.
Right. It's a complex, it's a complex process.
Yes.
And as you can recall, I mean, we've had legal